Oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? My friends all drive Porsches, I must make amends. Worked hard all my lifetime, no help from my friends. So oh Lord, won't you buy me a Mercedes Benz? Oh Lord,
AM 1220 KHTS. Carl Goldman here in the studio for this special 1-hour presentation, along with my guest, Lenny Sage, who's not a guest anymore. He's kind of like one of the family.
I'm a regular now. It's my second time here,
good.
Carl. Thank you.
Lenny is the owner of Mercedes Benz of Valencia here. He also owns a number of dealerships down in the San Fernando Valley. In fact, in a few minutes I'll let you rattle on your resume a little bit. But what we're going to be doing in the next hour is pretty unique, and I'm so thankful that you've joined us, because we are going to explore what it's like for all of us to walk into a dealership and buy a car and understand that, and not do it from a sales standpoint, but really do it from the consumer standpoint. And so over the next hour, we're going to learn the maybe the top 10 secrets of what to look for when going in and buying a new car. We'll also explore buying a what we call a used car, but you probably like to call it a pre-owned car.
We've got all kinds of great words. Certified pre-owned, gently used. You know,
I like,
you've got I don't use that one, but I like it.
That's good. And then we'll also explore the top 10 things to ask, the top 10 questions to ask when getting an auto loan. And that's a bit right now of a challenge with finances and banks having tightened the restrictions. Why don't we before I ask you those questions, what have you seen in the last month or so since we last spoke, Lenny? Do you see the credit market easing up a little for buying cars?
Well, nothing's changed really in the last month, but things have eased up significantly from the doldrums of 2010. Lenders have the problem with, I think, lenders who loan money out is they are the most skittish, and it's the most skittish industry that you're going to find. So when they sense, problems, they get very fearful. They get fearful, they tighten up, and the pendulum will always swing the equal and opposite direction the other way, where things were very aggressive and liberal, lending standards and underwriting standards, as we all know, that happened in the early part of the decade, of last decade. The pendulum swung the opposite direction, where things got really tight in 2009 and 2010 as a result of the financial meltdown. So now the pendulum's starting to kind of come back towards the middle a little bit, and what we're seeing really is the kind of lending standards that when I grew up in the business that we saw, which was a little more responsible. They asked the right questions. The lenders are asking the right questions. They're looking at the right financial fundamentals of borrowers, and they're looking for a degree of financial strength that would indicate that this person might be a good credit risk. It wasn't like that 5 years ago. I mean, just about anybody can get a loan for anything, as we all know, and that's what led to the financial meltdown. Not so much with automotive lending, but lending overall. So the answer to the question is things are much better. They haven't changed much in a month, but they're much better than they were a couple years ago, and we're starting to see lenders understand that there may be a new kind of buyer out there that may have had problems in the last 3 years, but if they're still gainfully employed and maybe they own a home or they've been on the job for a few years, they're still looking for the right kind of stability in order to give these people loans, where it wasn't that easy a couple years ago.
Now, a lot of us don't realize that in most instances, the auto dealers aren't doing the lending themselves. You're working with a third party. You're working with a bank. Most instances.
We very few dealers in the country actually do their own financing. I mean, you could probably count them on two hands, but there are dealers out there that, for the most part, the conventional way to do a loan is that we act as a broker for the bank. We place the loan. You apply through us. We broker the deal out to the best bank we can find for you that'll give us the best rate.
Does a lease work the same way in terms of brokering it out?
Leasing has changed. That's one of the things that's probably changed the most in automotive financing over the last few years, is that a lot of the lenders that were non-captive lenders, and a non-captive lender is a lender that isn't directly affiliated with a car brand. Mercedes-Benz has their own finance company. They are a captive lender. Bank of America isn't affiliated with a car brand, so they are a non-captive
So now
lender.
Ford Credit would be a captive.
They're a captive,
Got it.
exactly.
See, I learned quickly.
Yeah. Nissan Motor Credit,
Got it.
Toyota Motor Credit, Honda Financing. I mean, they all have their own captive financing, and leasing with non-captives has really tightened up, and that's kind of gone away a little bit, well, a lot. The best leasing out there right now is with the captives, with Mercedes-Benz Credit, BMW Financing, Toyota Motor Credit, Nissan Motor Acceptance Corporation. They're offering the best leasing rates, where a lot of the non-captives are out of the leasing business. It's a difficult business to manage, and that's why a lot of them got out of it.
We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I'm going to ask Lenny the difference and the advantages of leasing versus purchasing here on AM 1220 KHTS.